Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and Happy New Year. Today I'm going to be talking about audio and why I think it is one of the most important pieces of your video making. Let's do this. So if you're not already following me on Instagram, I have an Instagram and it's down here. You can follow me if you want to, but I did a poll on Instagram and I wanted to see what kinds of content you guys would get value out of. So one of the things that came out was tutorials. So today's tutorial is all about audio and some of my 5 tips on how you can go and use audio to create a real experience and get people to be emotionally moved and create more engaging videos when you're creating, whether it's a travel video or just a cinematic edit or just a YouTube video or a family home video, whatever kind of video that you're gonna make. Audio is one of the often forgotten pieces of video making. We're always so focused on making sure the shot looks good because it's the first thing our eyes notice, but audio tells us so much without ever being visible. So here are my 5 tips on how you can go and use audio to create a real experience and emotionally move people or get people to be engaged and do more than just have a nice collection of visuals. Okay. So tip number 1 is start to ask yourself the bigger questions when you're creating videos. Don't just go and put together all these dope images and put on the first song that comes to mind, which is which is often the song that just happens to be playing on the radio at the time, or it's your favorite song in the moment, and that's great, and there's a place for all that. But I encourage you to go and ask, what are the deeper things that you're trying to convey with this video? What's the emotion? What's the mood? What is the message? What's the story? Ask those deeper questions and you're gonna create a more moving experience. So if the video is these beautiful collection of like slow motion, like sunset images, it's this magical feeling, and then you slapped on this EDM song where it's just like, I'm immediately taken out of the experience. So ask yourself, what am I trying to convey for this? What did it feel like to actually be there? Can my audio support what is the emotion that I'm trying to put in there? Everything is kind of emotionally driven when it comes from me in video. So is the audio gonna go and support what you're doing, or is it gonna distract me from what you're doing? Keeping things really practical is I create a audio library that is separated into different moods. So I have my happy moods, or I have my just random backbeat moods that are kind of neutral. So if I'm doing like a vlog like this, I have a bunch of random backbeats that I'm like, this can go with pretty much anything. Or if it's exciting and it's like gonna get your energy up, or if it's something that's more introspective. Take a second, and whenever you're finding music, maybe it's not the right music for this project, but it's definitely gonna be right for another project. So start separating your songs into different moods. And don't be afraid to play with songs that don't have words either. I think sometimes words can be a distraction from the video rather than something that adds traction. So don't be afraid to find songs that are just instrumentals, so that way you can take us somewhere without giving the extra context of lyrics. Cool. Tip number 2. Tip number 2 has to do when you're recording audio. So a lot of times I'll do voiceovers with my work, and when I do a voiceover, you don't have to have crazy equipment. I happen to have some great equipment that I absolutely love, but when I'm on the go or when I'm traveling, I will just use my iPhone. And one of the things I'll do is I'll look for a room that doesn't have solid floors, whether it's like wood or stone or tile floors. I'll look for rooms that are carpeted, things where things will be muffled, the sounds will all be muffled, and then I'll jump underneath a blanket. Yes. That's right, I literally will cover myself over with a blanket. I'll have my script in one hand and I'll have my iPhone in the other and just do a voice recording that way. But by covering myself over with a blanket, I'm gonna start to muffle out all those outside noises so I get a really clean take of the audio. So little things like that will make a difference. And my tip number 3 is to pay attention to the music. We talked about music as the first tip, so I want you to pay attention to the music and not just cut, or just cut wherever you think. Listen to the music. As the music builds, maybe that's when the cuts start to build. And as the music kind of like slowly fades, maybe you use a crossfade, but let the music start to dictate. I can't tell you, it's my worst pet peeve when I'm watching this great video edit and all of a sudden they're cutting not to the beat. Listen to the music. And if you're not a musician, just use the little waveform that you can see. When the music spikes, that might be a great place to cut. A lot of people don't listen to the music, so really take a second, get to know your music, get to know what's happening, and let your video be this wonderful dance between the music and the visuals. And so it's not just, oh, I slapped on the song and I let it fade on at the end. No. listen to the music. Maybe even do a little extra, cut the music is what I'll often do, is I'll cut the music so it's cut to just the right amount and the music's doing what I need it to do, or I'm following along with the visuals, but it should be this wonderful dance. The best editors are just like good dancers. They allow me to hear the music better than if I was just listening to the song by itself. And with that, tip number 4. Tip number 4 is to record some neutral sound, some room tone, or just some random sound of wherever you're going. So if you're creating travel films, it's super helpful. It's something that a lot of us forget to do. I'm super guilty of it. I forget to do it all the time, but just taking your phone and going and recording some neutral sound so that way you have it on the background. That's gonna help you later on. I promise you it will, because anytime that there's like a lull in the video or you're not sure what needs to go there, you can always either A, go back and listen, or if you recorded it with some decent equipment, you can go and you can use it in your video and you can add that as another layer. You want to create an immersive experience, and so if you're somewhere, take something like your phone, which has a better sound recording device than just most built-in cameras, because it's made to pick up our voices and it's made to pick up sound. It's a phone after all, first off. So use that and pick up some of the audio of wherever you are, and that will help you. I promise it'll be worth it in the end. And audio isn't a huge file size, so you can easily take that, hold on to it, and save it on your hard drive. It's gonna be less space than most of the videos you record anyway, and it will save your butt, trust me. And the last tip I have for you is a super fun one, and it's to go and watch an animated film. If you think about this, an animated film wasn't filmed outside, so they didn't have the luxury of filming any of the natural sounds that were happening there. And oftentimes on sets, they'll go and they'll do something called Foley. They'll go and they'll create the sounds afterwards anyway, but especially on an animated film, none of the sounds are real. Watch some animated films, see what are the sounds that they made a point to put in there, and then really take advantage of that when you're editing. Look with the same eye that you just looked and watched this animated film. What are some of the sounds that you can find that you can go and put into your films to create an immersive experience for us as the viewer? Instead of just having these like beautiful images, now all of a sudden I'm hearing the crickets in the background, or I'm hearing the knock on the door, or I'm hearing the footsteps of the boots, or maybe it's just the sound of the clothes rustling against each other. All of those little tiny sounds you'll pick up if you are listening and watching an animated film that the audio artists have gone and put in there. Watch with that same eye. Go and see what these audio artists are doing, and then see if you can replicate that process with any of the videos that you're doing. Try and find some of the really unique sounds, whether that's by finding them on YouTube, in the audio library, Googling them, going and finding things on iTunes, anywhere you can look, or just recording them yourself. Go and see what are the subtle sounds that you can add to create an immersive experience. Really try and engage more of my senses. If you do that, you will create an engaging experience that is not just fun to watch, but it will really bring me in and move me. I always ask the question, did you change the breath of the audience? Did I laugh? Did I cry? Did I hold my breath in suspense? Did I sigh in relief? How did you change my breath? Audio cannot be discounted when it comes to moving your audience on an emotional level, on a physical level, just creating an immersive experience for me. And it doesn't matter if it's a 60-second video for Instagram or if you're creating a long form piece for YouTube. Do not forget, because putting in that extra work is going to really pay off in the end, and it's going to make your videos really shine and really stand out. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Give me a thumbs up if you found it valuable. Leave a comment down below if you have other ideas on how you can improve your video making game using audio, or if there's other things that you think I should cover. Thank you so much for watching, you guys, and I will see you next week with another fun video. Bye.